Shalom. Call all Yahweh Shemi Shai by Shimmer Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone that taught us this truth and ruled well, and to the men that taught them. Peace and blessings to the elect nation of Israel, and that begins with the 144,000 who are the prophets today, and also the great multitude of men, women, and children the Heavenly Father is going to have mercy on. And that's you so-called Black, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible, according to the Holy Scriptures. And my name is Dawadah. Come on, another lesson. And this lesson will be, do we keep the law? Yes, the law is not done away with. And the reason why I'm focusing on this topic is because I overheard someone, talking at the plantation, basically talking about, and just being out too. I heard another, topic where just listening in on, just being out, being at the park and stuff. I heard somebody talking about, about the Bible and everything, but I didn't say anything. I just heard them. So, I just eardropped, and they just basically kind of was mentioning that, we don't have to follow, God's law. We just, we're saved by grace, but, this is, how these people are, And I'm pretty sure these are Christians, just feed into that rhetoric, that Christianity crap, Yep. And I think they had mentioned something about, the dietary laws, and also was talking about, the grooming thing too, about, men shaving their heads and stuff like that. You don't have to, you can shave your head, you can line up, you could do all that stuff. But, like I said, the law is not done away with, Yahweh Shai, he kept the high holy days, which is the Passover, the Feast of Dedication, which is Hanukkah, and he kept a beard and hair on his head. So what the hell are these people talking about, But you gonna get, that's how these wacky tacky Christians are, They just be talking out the side of their neck, And Yahweh Shai kept the commandments, And he said, prepare the dinner for the Passover, So you basically just can't start at the middle of the book, because that's what these wacky tacky Christians want to do. They want to start at the middle of the book. They want to skip the Old Testament and the Apocrypha, which they don't even know about the Apocrypha anyway. They just jump to the New Testament, Well, then that's how these people operate, So let's go to, and then this is going to be a quick lesson just to, debunk that, rebuke that, what they was talking about, because that's not true. The law is not done away with. We still have to keep the law, and that's talking about our people, the children of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites, the so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, And let's get that, Matthew 5:17, because this is how these people, and they only want to feed their flesh, because they don't want to sacrifice and change as a person, That's how these people operate. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy it, but to fulfill, And like what the scriptures say, the Most High come in the volume of the book, And what the book is written about Yahweh Shai. Majority of the book is speaking about, the coming of Yahweh Shai. So what the hell are they talking about? The law is not done away with. You keep Esau law, you ain't got no problem doing that. You're going to stop at a red light. You're going to do everything Esau said do. You ain't going to go in the store and just steal, walk out with all kind of stuff. Yeah, you're going to follow Esau's law. But no, you don't got to follow Yahweh Shema Shai. But don't worry, and most of these be our two-thirds of our people being like that, Let's get that Hebrews 10:7, you know what I'm saying? Because this is something that's important, you know what I'm saying, the law. But we also, it's also about faith and grace, you know. It's about that faith too. It's not about just keeping the law, but that is one main thing we have to do is keep the law, and we do it to the best of our ability. Yeah, just want to mention that also. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 7. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me, yeah, to do thy will. O power, Yahweh Shemashah, yeah. He said it's written of me, yeah. Who is that? Yahushua. So like I say again, Yahushua kept the law. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to Matthew 5 and 18. Let's go back to Matthew 5 and then go to verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle should in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Yeah. So the law was not done away with at all. It says till all be fulfilled, you know what I'm saying? But you know what trips me out is that our people do everything that the so-called white man say do. And they believe everything that he teach, that he pushed out there, all these different religions, you know what I'm saying, different doctrines. They believe all that. But when it comes to, time to believe what the scriptures is really saying, you know what I'm saying, they don't want to. And I'm going to go into Rome, and then also Romans chapter 6, speak about that. This is Apostle Paul speaking about the law was not done away with. You know what I'm saying? Which Apostle Paul, he kept the law, right along with Yahushua as well, like I say again. So what the hell, Jake, you know what I'm saying? Jake has a low-level mindset, And one thing they care about is their oppressor. They don't care about what the so-called white man and these other heathen nations do, And that's why Apostle Paul went up to the elders, you know what I'm saying, and apostles to ask, you know what I'm saying, whether the Israelites that was in that Gentile state of mind needed to be circumcised to receive salvation, you know what I'm saying? That's why he did that, which would be keeping the law, you know what I'm saying? So let's go to Romans chapter 6, verse 15. What then should we sin? Because we are not under the law, but under grace. God forbid, you know what I'm saying? So, no, you know what I'm saying? We have to, you know what I'm saying? We have to rehearse the righteous acts, you know what I'm saying? We have to, you know what I'm saying? And what is sin, you know what I'm saying? What is sin according to the Bible, you know what I'm saying? They don't even know what sin is, and they just be mumble jumbling and talking all that crap, Let's go there. 1 John 3 and 4. You know what I'm saying? 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever commits sin transgress also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. So, what then? Should we sin? Yeah. And what is sin? Sin is the transgression of the law. And the law is not done away with. You know what I'm saying? No. It never has, because we definitely have to, because we're not under and what it says, because we are not under the law but under grace, God forbid. And what Paul is saying is, no, just because we are under faith, we can't transgress the law. We still have to keep the law. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these Christianities messed our people up. This religion messed our people up. Yep. Because they don't want to keep the law, because they know, they have to change as a person. You know what I'm saying? They have to sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? And the nigga don't want to do that. So you see, Esau don't care if he continues to be, teaching our people to go off. That's what he want our people to do. He want our people so he can go back to Yahweh Shem Shai and say, ooh, look what your people doing. They ain't following what you say do, you know. But that's okay, you know, the day is coming when 2/3 of our people and the heathens, especially Esau Edom, is on the top of the list, where he gonna get that sword. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get exactly what he deserved. Let's go to Romans chapter 3, verse 31. Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yeah, we establish the law. So you see, the law is not done away with. We establish the law. And there's a lot of scriptures on this topic, you know what I'm saying? That's why you always have to go back to the basic, the milk, which is very important. This is the foundation, you know, that we have to stand on. The foundation that we have to stand on with this truth, this word, you know what I'm saying? You know? And it's a beautiful thing, you know? Let's go to 1 John chapter 2, verse 3. And hereby we know that we know him if we keep his commandments. Yeah. What is the commandments? The laws that the Most High gave to Moses, you know what I'm saying? In Exodus chapter 20, you know what I'm saying? To the children of Israel only, you know, which is the first 5 books, you know what I'm saying? Genesis, Exodus, you know, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, you know what I'm saying? So, verse 4, and he that said, I know him, and keep not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whosoever keep his word, in him really is the love of the Most High. Perfect. Hereby know we that we are in him. Verse 6, and he said, and he that said he abide in him ought himself also to walk, even as he walked. Brethren, I write no new commandment unto you, but an old commandment which ye had from the beginning. That the old commandment is the word which ye have heard from the beginning. And verse and again, a new commandment I write unto you, which things is true in him and in you, because the darkness is past and the true light now shine. You know what I'm saying? So, I'll stop right there. I think I went too far. I was supposed to stop at verse 7, yeah. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that established through the first 5 books, like I said again. So, we know that we supposed to keep the law, you know what I'm saying? But our people are stubborn, man, you know what I'm saying? You know, and hard. And we know when they don't do that, it's because we know there's no light in them. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to that and close out on that. Chapter 8, verse 20. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. And to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Yeah, and there's no light in them. Our people love darkness. And that's what they gravitate to, because they want to basically just follow the ways of the heathen, you know what I'm saying? That false doctrine that doesn't line up with the word, you know what I'm saying? But like I said again, I wanted to make a short video because some people was going off talking about the Bible, and they were saying the laws were done away with. We don't have to follow God's law. But that's not true. We do have to follow God's law. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say Shalom. I want to say call all y'all by Shem Shai by Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone, to the apostles, the elders, and the bishops at Great Millstone. And peace and salutations to the Akim on the 4 corners, resting their lives each and every week on the highways and the byways, and to the brothers and sisters tuning in for edification. It's your brother Dawadah. Shalom.